Hi folks, this is activity W4P2 and this stands for week 4 problem 2 for the uh, mechanism design course that I'm giving. Uh, I want to show what power copy is in Catia V5. Now there are a lot of other good video tutorials on this and I'm not trying to replicate those. You can search the YouTube and go through them if you wish. But I'm explaining this in the context of very elementary problem. So here's what the situation is. Suppose you have a part like this bottom, see that bottom block, bottom box-like block, and you have several directions. These are the directions that are shown, and some points, for example, on these three faces of this block or on any face. Now, what we want to do is we want to create a path which is centered at that point, or this point, or that point, and the base of it is a rectangle and it is padded in a given direction. And you should be able to control the length of the path and the dimensions of the square. Now, this is such a simple problem that you may say, well, I know how to do this. I select that face. I'm going to, draw a rectangle on it and then make sure this is the center of it. And then I pad that rectangle in an oblique direction. And then I repeat it for this point and then repeat it for that point. This is why I said it's such a simple problem that actually doesn't warrant using the power copy, but I can explain it quite easily in the context of this problem. So you want to be able to control the direction, the path face, the center of that rectangle that you're interested, and the size of the pad and the size of the rectangle that you want. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is to create these essentially directions by creating 4 points and creating 3 lines between them. So let me go ahead here and start with the part file. And of course, my habit is immediately save this thing. So file, save management, save as. There's a folder that I have here. Yep, it's going to go there. All right. Now we're going to create our 4 points. Let me do it by coordinate 0, 0, 0. Another one 50 for x and 50 for y. Okay. Another one 50 for z and 50 for x. And finally, make this thing 0 and 50 for y. Okay, so essentially I have 4 directions. So make a line between this origin 0, 0, 0 and that point. That's one direction. Another one from here to here. And another one from there to there. Okay. So these are the four 3 directions that I have. Now I'm going to make my part. The part is actually this, what I mean by part is this block down here. I'll draw it so that it's kind of away from these so that it doesn't interfere with these stuff. So on that horizontal plane, I will sketch a rectangle. I'll draw it far enough so that, as I said, it won't interfere with those. Just for the sake of concreteness, let me make this thing 200. And this, I'll make it 100. These dimensions don't have any significance. It's just that it makes it easier for me to make my part. So exit, and there we are. And then I'm going to pad this. I'll do it in the other direction so that we can see it, and I'll make it, how about 50? Okay, there we are. Now, I will create, I'll create 3 points on these, maybe 4 points on these uh, faces. So the method that I'm going to use is on a face, on a surface. So it's going to be a point here, another one on the same face, but perhaps there, and two on these two other faces. Yep. And finally, this one. All right. Okay. So everything is done. And now we're going to start basically working on our first pad, which is going to be power copy. So I'll do the usual stuff. So on that plane, I will sketch a rectangle. I'll make it centered rectangle because it makes it easier for me to coincide the center of these two. So notice that I want this point, the center of this rectangle, control this other point that's on the surface to be coincident. Or you can put a dimension and then make the actual dimension 0. So notice that the center of this rectangle is coincident with that point. And since we're going to be controlling the sides of these rectangle for padding purposes, I'm going to dimension them, exit. All right. Now remember, I want to eventually pad things so that it goes in these directions. But the first pad that I'm going to make can be, for example, in an arbitrary direction. The only problem is that that's going to stay there. Okay. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is the first one, I'm going to make it the first pad, I'm going to make it so that it's along that direction, for example. So you go to pad. All right. And the sketch is going to be this one. And for the height is fine, that's no problem. You go to more, see that? More box. And here you can select the direction of the pad, so like that, and we say okay. So there we are. So this is uh, our first pad in this direction. Okay, now that we have done the first one, let's go ahead and create our power copy. So we go to, let me show you what we have here. We have all the points, all the lines, the first pad, etc. So we go to Insert, Knowledge Template, Power Copy. You click on it. This dialog box shows up, and the first question that it asks, look at the bottom left corner. It says choose the element to include. Now, obviously, we want to include this pad. You can select it from the tree or you can select it from the screen. And it tells you that to make that pad, you did three things. You selected the line, you selected the point, and you selected the face. So these are essentially my inputs, and I want to keep it like that. Anything that you don't want it to be input, you just send it back. You just select it and then send it back. Now, under parameters, this one, 50, is the height of the pad. So if you left double click on it, it puts it over here. I'm going to call it height. That one is the one of the sides. So I'm going to make this thing a side. Notice that I left double clicked on it. And when I do that, this published name becomes selected, etc. And the next one is the B side. Or side one and side two. Now on the document, we have nothing there. On the properties, it's a good idea to screen capture this so that later on we know what we are doing. So screen capture or grab screen. And then here we can assign a particular icon to it because there may be multiple power copies in a particular file. So we want to quickly recognize that I'll put a envelope here. And then we say, okay. Okay, so notice what happened here. A power copy has been created. And the name of it, lifted power copy 1, I could have called it my first power copy. For example, if you double click on this thing, you can change it. Left double click, you can say my first power copy, my own power copy. And then you say, okay, obviously that's going to change. No problem. Now, I'm going to save this thing. I'm going to save this thing right away. So just go click on the floppy. Everything is going to get saved. In that, remember, I called it part 1. Now, what we want to do is we want to go to tools, insert. Instead of the power copy here, remember that's how we did it first? We go to instantiate from selection. You click on it, it says, okay, you want to power copy something. Do you have many? If so, which one are you going to select? Now, obviously, we don't have many, we just have one. You click on it, and it shows you what the inputs are. For example, the line. Let's say that we want to power copy just hypothetically along that vertical edge, okay? And we want to do it on that same face, and you want to do it at that point, okay? Now, as soon as you finish selecting the input, the parameters appear. So do you want to make any changes? So let's say that we say 100 here, or make it 10 actually. These things I'm going to make it 10 and 10, just randomly. Say okay. Now can I see it? The problem is that this is padded, but it goes into this object. That's why it says unnecessary. You say fine, no problem. So we go back to the line and flip the direction of the line, and now preview it, and this is what we're going to get. So I did one of them. All right, and then we say okay. Now, as soon as you do that, path 3 has been created. This was path 2, the first one. This is path 3. Let's do another one. So again, you go insert, instantiate from selection, from my power copy. Okay. So let us do it along that direction, this direction. Okay. So for the line, I select that direction. For the face, I select that face. And for the point, I select this point. And if you want to change the parameter values, I'll make it, I'll keep it the same as before. 50, okay, so actually I'll make this 300, how about that? Can I preview it? There we are, right? Let's do another one. Let's do another one. So insert, instantiate from selection. Here's my power copy. So let's do it along that direction. If I want to do it on this face, it cannot be that direction. So let me use a different one. So for example, that one. And I may have to change the direction if it's unnecessary. So we'll see. And then the pad is this face. The face is this face. I'm sure it's going to go into, so probably it's going to come back with, and it says unnecessary. However, if you make it long enough, it'll work out. Okay, so let's leave these sides the same. Actually, let me go to parameters, make these things 10 and 10, or 15 and 15. Can I preview it? There we are. If you make it longer, so if you go to this parameters, it will make this thing, I don't know, 100. It becomes more pronounced, but you can also change the direction. It comes from the other end. There. You see? Maybe this was such a simple problem, so it really does not show you the whole picture of what's going on. What is the value of that? But let me save this thing. Okay. So suppose you want to give the ability to do something like that to somebody else in your organization, but you don't want to give them the entire drawing. So what you can do is you can make a catalog out of that. Where is this? Insert. Yeah, see that? Insert knowledge template, saving catalog. Okay. Insert knowledge template, saving catalog. Well, first of all, let's go and find out where. So I'm going to click on this, these three dots. It's going to take me to the folder that I want, or I go find it. The January 26, that's the same right folder. So I'm going to say my first catalog. Okay. The only thing is that this is not the correct directory. So let me this is correct, except that it's in the OneDrive of the university's server. I don't want it to go there. I want it to go to the desktop for my laptop. So let's go find it. It's right here. And I'm going to say my first catalog, power copy. Yeah, power copy. It's the name. And then say OK, save. Or say OK. Let's check that folder, see if it's in there. So we go here and you can see it's right there. See that? There seems to be a book here, which is my first catalog. Okay. There's a little book there. Okay. Anyway, let's go back here and I'm going to close this. And let's say my friend came and had a part like this the next day, and he or she wanted to actually do that same pad stuff, but in certain directions. So what you do is you go into tools right here, see that tools toolbar. You click on the catalog browser, you go find it right there. There. This is the one that I saved on my desktop. The person opens it up, and if you double click on it here, so it has 3 inputs right there. You have to double click it hard enough, and then there we are. And then you double click on this line, it sends you there. So now remember, this is my friend. Line, say we want to pad along that line. Face, top face. I may have to flip this arrow, I will. And point is right there. Parameters, how about making it 100? 5 and 5. Preview. There we are. Remember, all I did was to give my friend access to that catalog file. And then say, OK. Do it again, double click. Suppose that I want to add in this direction. See that? Direction of that line. On that face. And the point is right there. Click on the parameter. Maybe 10 and 10. Yeah, 10 and 39, whatever. Preview. There we are. See this? The rectangle is correct size. The direction is what I picked. And the center is that location. Now you hopefully appreciate the fact that when you create a power copy, you can actually, for others, you or for yourself, you can actually save that power copy in a catalog. And the way it was, you go to Tools, Insert, Knowledge Template, Saving Catalog. Okay. And then just close everything. Next day you can come back if you need that particular thing to do. That's what it's called power copy. You just read that catalog item and start using it. All right, folks. That's pretty much it. Now, the only thing is that when you use the power copy, your tree becomes longer and longer. Every time you use a power copy, your tree becomes longer and longer. And what you may want to do is you may want to use what is called a user feature. So here, instead of knowledge template power copy, there's something called user feature, which may be a bit more efficient for extremely long trees. All right, good luck.